How's it going, everybody? Gabriel right here, PGA Tour, driven the movement towards improvement. We're over here at TPC Scottsdale in Arizona, home of the Waste Management Open that's coming here soon. Chilling with my good buddy Andy Patnow, one of the instructors here, and we're working on the swing, and we're going to share with you guys what we're working on and how this can help your game.
All right, guys, so this is a good drill for all you guys that struggle maybe hitting a little bit too far down on it, and also maybe that sit there guys that maybe hit it just a touch too low when they start trying to work at hitting down. So one thing here is that I got Gabe set up relatively, let's say, a club distance away, maybe a little bit further back than that, right? Because Gabe sometimes struggles with making too much or taking too big of divots, right, Gabe?
Yeah, but too big of divots, too steep, hitting down too much.
Yeah, and because, you know, he wants to make sure he compresses that golf ball. He wants to make sure he takes a little bit of loft off so he can hit it pretty far. The issue is that when most people start trying to do that, they start trying to do it the wrong way, which actually sometimes makes them lose speed and also makes them hit it shorter, right? Because the golf ball launches lower. So Gabe, why don't you tell them what you're working on, kind of, you know, explain to the viewers what you're kind of doing.
Okay, I'm working on getting my hands more ahead of impact and shallowing my angle of attack. So hands more ahead and not hitting down as MUCH. So
that's much for people that can't put that together.
Yeah, sorry, I like to spell things out. So I'm going to set up to it, and the goal objective here is for this ball and club to miss this bag. Because one of the tendencies I have is if I try to get my hands ahead, I have a tendency to hit too down and keep this club too low for too long. So by having this bag here, okay, the bag's going to help me wanting to come up and miss this bag with the club. So once again, shallowing my angle of attack. So Andy, when do the hands get to their lowest point in the swing?
You know, that's a pretty good question. This is something that I think is kind of a little bit misunderstood for a lot of instructors, but this is kind of starting to become you know, relatively more known. So what's happening is that when golfers take this golf club down, and right where they start getting to their right hip point, right, what starts happening is that their body starts kicking in what we start calling extension, and they start kicking a little bit of right side bend, so that golf club starts coming out of the air. So basically, you know, these hands don't just continue going down and continue traveling on a straight line like this. You actually start getting your hands to a point right around your right hip where this handle of the golf club starts raising and the golf club kind of starts catching up to the hands, which allows that golf club to start coming in a little bit faster, obviously, but also starts coming in with some pretty good loft, and the club will actually speed up going through impact, as opposed to you guys sitting there trying to handle drag, or let's say sit there just, you know, holding these angles for so very long, because that's actually a speed sometimes can actually decrease speed. So he wants to make sure, you know, for him, Gabe, maybe talk about what you're working on your left wrist and what you're feeling like, because you never want to sit there and jump it too quick. But for the most part, he's working on delivering a pretty strong loft, having a little bit of lag basically, but not just sitting there trying to maintain that lag for so long, and kind of, say, you know, doing it, you know, kind of manufactured almost, as opposed to allowing it to happen.
Yeah. So definitely my left wrist, I'm trying to flatten or bow it a little more. At impact, you don't want this left wrist cupped. I want it flat or bowed to where that's going to help the club get more behind, hands ahead. That's going to transfer more energy into the ball. A lot of PGA Tour players, if you pause them at impact, their hands are always ahead. That can definitely correlate to the left hand wrist being more flat. So left hand, more flat, more bowed, hitting up, keeping these hands raising. Once they get to here, I want them coming up now.
Definitely higher.
Yeah, so that was okay. Still a little too big of a divot that I would like. That's why I'm doing this drill. So I'll try to exaggerate, accentuate a little bit more.
And that's the weird thing, is that he's working on having, let's say, more flight or palm reflection in his left wrist. And he's actually hitting it higher because now he's not hitting so far down on it trying to do that. He's actually delivering good loft, which says, so he can still hit it pretty high, but because he's not hitting so far down, that launch angle is going to help go up just a little bit.
That was good, shallower divot.
That one was a lot better.
Andy, if someone doesn't have a bag like this, is it okay to do it with just a feel, or can they use something else? Like
you can put a water bottle down there, or, you know, a Gatorade bottle, whatever it is. You know, pretty much. I mean, maybe like a towel or something like that. Maybe a shoe bag or a backpack, something maybe just at home. Because honestly, you know, you can use an old backpack as an impact bag. Just stuff your old backpack up with a little bit of towels, and it's the same thing as an impact bag. It zips up, and guess what? You can carry it on your back.
And not to get too technical and dive into some other things,
keep it simple sense.
But real quick, if we're going to dive into why, if you do this, you're going to hit the ball farther, right? If you do what we're telling you to, You don't even have to gain club head speed, and you're going to gain distance. So Andy, real quick, can we talk about these two angles right here?
All right, so let's talk about this real quick. So this thing here, I want you guys to imagine it's a gator mouth, right?
Chomp,
and
chomp.
this big gap here is spin, right? So Gabe showed like a kind of a sand wedge. This is what a sand wedge would be. It doesn't have to sit there and be kind of crazy. The angle attack could be a little bit more down, and because the sand wedge or lob wedge has the most loft, right? That's why your wedges spin more. Gabe, show a driver real quick. So driver optimally is something more kind of level, maybe slightly up, with a little bit of loft, and that's why this little gator mouth is now closed, which is why your drivers also spin less. Most amateurs unfortunately come in with a little bit more loft and the angle attack's really far down, which sometimes will bring that loft down with it, with the angle attack, but you can still kind of see how big that gator mouth is. So, what we're trying to work on here with Gabe is that I want to make sure he has a good loft, but he's minimizing how much he's hitting down, maybe just a little bit, so he has a little bit better spin control, but it's a lot more consistent.
Yep. So once again, this is angle of attack right here. This blue stick is angle of attack. This top club is dynamic loft. And what most amateurs do is they hit down a lot with a lot of loft, right? You see them come over the top, steep divots, and they got their hands cupped at impact. The ball goes, balloons up into the sky, and it doesn't go anywhere. And what's Tiger Woods do? Tiger Woods doesn't hit as down as much, so he hits a little more up, and he de-lofts the shiznit out of it. And that, my friends, kills the ball. That transfers more energy in a technical sense. So let me show you what Tiger Woods does and what I do. What's going on? This is shenanigans. That's a good drill. It's been helping me a lot, especially for somebody. Jesus, man. Let's get the camera away.
He told me to move around.
So anyways, you guys, work on getting your hands ahead, shallowing out your angle of attack. Subscribe if you guys like this vid. Feel free to share it. This is actually some good stuff, even though we like to mess around. Gabe Ratter, A-Pat, we're signing out.
Well, actually, just that's signing out.
Okay, signing out.